Alright, now we got sound. Okay. Why does it not always have sound, I ask? Hi everybody, it's Sally.
And Laura.
And Barbara. And we're at Alcohol and Soda Back, and of course we have to have some sort of technical difficulty, otherwise it wouldn't be a rambling Thursday. I know you think I'm a goof, but
They know you well.
I know.
All of us.
Before we get started, we're going to be talking about batting today, and embroidery type things. But I wanted to remind you up on the 22nd of October, which is going to be coming up soon, because who knew how it came to be September today?
It's September?
Yes, didn't you know?
Oh my gosh, I'm still in June.
We wish.
Yeah, I would be in this heat wave.
We have a virtual retreat with Stropology that we're going to be doing here at the store. So we'll be online. We have if you see here, we have TV. It's a Zoom thing, so we'll be joining Gudrun and Club online, and we also have a big giant screen in the back, so we'll hook a computer and a camera up. We haven't done that in a while, but we know how to. We used to know how to do it. I think we still know. I still have two projectors, so they should both work, and we'll be starting around 7. The Zoom, because it's Central Time, so of course they're starting at 9. But you know,
yeah.
But somebody will pick up some donuts, I'm hoping. Doesn't that sound like a good plan? I think it's a good plan. So it's $169. We'll include lunch and a box with all your goodies, and you get to pick your own fabrics. So you'll want to come in and choose the fabrics for your quilt, because you'll want to get them ahead of time, because I believe that you'll want to do some cutting ahead of time so that you can get more stuff done. So I know I have a couple people already interested. We only have 10 slots, 10 boxes, and I think that Laura and Barbara might be wanting boxes, so they might not, might be picking up some of those things.
I'm being really patient and just letting other people have their chance.
Yeah, they get to have their chance. That's why I don't walk out with a lot of fabric.
So anyway,
well, unless it's really good, then we take it first.
Yeah, so we take it first.
Yeah, that is true. That
Especially
is
panels.
true.
Yeah. If it's good fabric, you better get here before Barbara and I find it, or otherwise it's toast.
So anyway,
Got my eye on a
so
couple of them today.
I am going to put the link to that in the stream. All right, go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Laura.
Okay, so
Lest I babble on anymore.
we wanted to talk about quilt batting versus embroidery batting. So let me turn my fan off so I can hear myself
Good
think.
for baby quilts.
Yeah. So quilt batting, you already know. Most of you already know. It comes in a variety of styles: 100% cotton poly blends, 100% polyester, wool,
Bamboo.
silk, bamboo blends. The myriad is extensive. We carry quilt batting here by Color Me Cotton. It is 100% cotton batting.
And it's made in the United States.
Made in the USA. That's
and I
great.
believe the cotton is also grown here.
So, and if you feel it, it's super, super silky.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the quilt batting,
You want me to go
is-
to camera 1 or?
let's go to 1. Let me move this down a little bit. Okay, is that, okay. So if you look at the quilt batting, this is 100% cotton batting. You can see how thick it is. Okay, it's got a low loft. But it's gonna be a very warm batting. This is different than embroidery batting. Embroidery batting will specifically say on it, embroidery batting. Now, the difference is, look how thin the embroidery batting is compared to, trying to get just one layer here. The way it's folded makes it a little difficult. Okay. So you can see the thickness of the quilt batting compared to the embroidery batting. Quilt batting is about twice as thick. The embroidery batting also appears to be a little more dense. So it's going to support your embroideries quite well. There we go. And if you're doing quilt blocks, like I just finished a bunch of applique quilt blocks. I wish I had known about embroidery batting. At the time I didn't. I used regular quilt batting and the blocks are a little stiff.
Yeah.
I think with the embroidery batting you're gonna get more flexibility because it's a thinner batting and it's soft, and with the layers of the applique or the embroidery, it's gonna give you the comfort that you want and the warmth that you want. Okay, in addition to embroidery batting, there is something.
And we have two kinds of embroidery batting. Did you mention we have both the Hoop Sisters and the?
Airlight
I haven't
and the
got to
hoop
that
system.
one yet.
Okay, alright.
So, we also have another product, this one, move these over here for a second. This one is called Battleizer. Can you see that? Battleizer. And this one we sell by the yard. Now this can be batting or embroidery batting, I believe. And when you look at it, it's kind of a good in between the two. So it's not quite as thick, although very close to regular quilt batting, but it is very dense, but still super soft. It almost feels like a bamboo batting.
Yeah.
It's not. It is 62.3% cotton, 26.7% polyester, and 11% polypropylene. So it's gonna be a good stabilizer
So all the
for your embroidery.
all the Hoop Sister stuff I've always used the
Yeah, cause I
Use the
used
what?
that when
The,
we would embroider the quilts.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good batting.
Yeah.
And you don't need to add any additional batting along with this for
And
your
you don't
quilt.
have to use stabilizer
And you
either.
don't have to
Right.
use stabilizer, cause it's.
Because the stabilizer's in the batting, that's the whole point of it.
Right.
Hoop Sisters has made embroidery batting for, I'm gonna go to 3.
Okay.
Shop. Has made embroidery batting for a long time.
Yes.
Years and years, since we were at the other store,
Yeah.
probably 15, 20, well, maybe not that long. I'm
They
not
do
that old.
good stuff.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
not
the
that
batting's
old.
very nice and it's very soft.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And we still have a lot of Hoop Sisters designs in the store too,
Nice.
on silly CDs.
So this is batting and stabilizer all rolled up into one product. So you don't have to add additional stabilizer for your embroidery. You can just hoop the batting.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Next,
if you were gonna do a quilt and you were gonna do a lot of embroidery on the quilt, then you could just use the embroidery batting and you wouldn't have to worry about anything.
right,
It's nice.
and then when you get to the quilting part of your quilt, most of it's already been done for you
Correct.
because of the embroidery.
It's awesome.
So then you just stitch in the ditch between your blocks.
Exactly, and you're done because
Ta-da.
we like to have things that are done.
Yeah,
So,
We're supposed to try to get them done.
yeah.
because
know that.
with regular batting, you just don't have enough, I'm gonna go to, with regular batting, you just don't have enough
It gives
oomph,
too much.
and it's too stretchy, so you can't really do an embroidery on regular batting. Now you can do like quilt as you go or edge to edge, or like all the embroidery stuff is fine on that. You don't have to use embroidery batting for that because that's more quilting.
Right.
So So that's different. You got 2 layers of fabric, and you've got the batting in between, so that's stabilized enough. You don't have to have stabilizer 2 in addition.
Well, like the embroidery blocks that I just did, they're applique blocks.
Uh-huh.
It has embroidery in the background, and then the applique on top
Uh-huh.
of that. But I put a layer, I hooped a layer of water-soluble stabilizer,
Right.
and then it puts the dye line or the placement line down for the batting, and I used regular cotton batting and put on top of that. Then it stitches that down. Then you put the fabric on top of that and it stitches that down, but then it quilts the whole thing.
Right.
And so then it does the applique on top of that. So in that case, quilt batting is fine, but I think I still could have got away with just the embroidery batting
I
just
think you
fine.
would have been better off with the embroidery batting, really.
The blocks themselves, they're a little
Kind of.
stiff,
Yeah.
cause that's a lot of stitching on that batting. And you know, when you put a lot of stitching
It
on
gets
the cotton
stiff.
batting,
I don't think
it
it's really
gets
meant
stiff.
to have all that stitching. I think that that's the whole point of the embroidery batting, is it's designed to have all that stitching.
Yeah.
So you want to do that.
If I'd have known about that before I
I'm
finished
surprised
this
you
quilt,
didn't know.
I did not know.
It's curious.
I know, you would think working here I would know that.
Because that's what we would have used for what we did with the
Oh, that
the
was
one for the
diamonds.
right, the diamond one with was
Yeah.
Hoop Sisters. We did that all on
We used Battleizer for that.
Battleizer, right?
Yeah. I should have remembered that.
Yeah.
I did not.
Well, sometimes it's just hard to remember things, as I've discovered.
It's hard for me to remember what I have eaten in the last 24 hours. Are you kidding?
That's why we have phones and memo pads.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's go on to our next.
Okay, I want
topic
to talk
for
about
discussion.
thread, because I had a couple of students ask me, is any thread okay for anything I want to use? And the answer is no, it is not. There are certain threads that you can use in multiple ways, but I wouldn't say that there's any thread that you can use for absolutely everything.
Well, and there's, so you might say, can I use serger thread to sew with?
No.
Well,
You can,
you
but it's
can
not
if-
advisable.
no, because Mettler serger thread, I believe, is okay to sew with, because I think they made the Mettler serger thread
Stronger.
a stronger thread,
Uh-huh.
but not signature serger thread
Or like that maxi
or
lock
maxi
thread.
lock serger thread,
No.
because that's not designed to sew with. It's it's not a strong thread, and it's designed to only be used with 2 or 3 threads altogether, so you would have a total disaster.
Actually,
if you-
talk for just a minute. I'm gonna go get a Kona that's in my box back there
Okay.
to show exactly what you're talking
All
about.
right. All right, I'll try and talk for a
The
few
way
minutes
you
and-
can tell is if you take the thread and the easier it is to break,
Yeah, you don't
the
want to be
less
doing.
it's
I'll
gonna
be like
hold
sitting
things
down and
together.
putting a hole, like have a big hole in the back of my pants. But I do believe that the Mettler serger thread, a few years ago, they were saying that you could piece with it. Now, I don't know if that's still true that they're saying that,
Okay,
but okay.
so
Here
I
you go.
have
I'm going
pulled
to
out
3.
a few spools of open thread. I'm gonna put those aside for a moment. This is cone serger thread. This, I believe, is maxi lock.
You know, and sometimes it's hard to tell what it is, because a lot of thread comes on a cone, so you might not know. You might say, well, oh, I have a cone spool of thread.
like- I have glide cones that are this size.
Right.
So, but you have to know your thread. Now, here's the secret. So, this is serger thread. Serger thread is typically weaker thread. Not all of them, but sometimes. So, grab the thread like this and give it a bounce. If
Yep.
it pops
Yeah.
pretty easily,
yep.
like
It did.
this, I would not recommend using that for construction. Because if it pops that easily right here,
Imagine when you sit down
Unless
in
you
your pair
don't
of
like the
pants.
person.
yeah, make it on a pair of stretch pants and then
Yeah.
sit down and they're
That could be
showing the world.
entertaining.
Okay, now that with serger thread. This is glide thread. It's a triobal polyester thread. For me personally, I love glide thread. Now, it's got a strong bounce to it. I had to pull kind of hard to break it, but any thread will break. You just have to work at it. But this is a very good thread. Now this is a 40 weight thread. I use this for construction. I use it for embroidery because it's a beautiful thread. I also use it for long arm quilting. And as much as I like this, I probably wouldn't use it for everything. If I'm sewing on canvas, I probably wouldn't use this. It's not quite strong enough. Or vinyl or something like that. I'd use a heavier thread.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's a good all around thread. Now Metler,
And then the difference is, this doesn't have a shine to it. That has
Right.
a shine to it.
right, the
Most rayon and polys have a shine to them.
true.
But-
And also with this thread, if you looked at it closely, which I know we can't get that up close and personal here, but you can take your thread, the cotton thread especially, if you looked at it, you'll see that there's thick spots and thin spots and little knots, and you can feel little bumps as you're going through the thread. That is called, the little bump is called a slub. And the way they manufacture thread is they take long fibers, we're talking about cotton thread, they take long fibers and they knot them together. And where they have the knots is called a slub. The length of the fiber is called a staple. So when you're looking at sheets, for example, and it says long staple Egyptian thread, that means instead of having a staple that's 1 inch and having a knot every 1.5 inches, they might have a staple that's 3 or 4 inches, so you have knots 3 or 4 inches apart. The reason that's important is because 9 times out of 10, if your thread is going to break, it's going to break where the knot is. So, long staple threads are good if the quality of the staple is good.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Okay, now this is also Metler. And Metler makes great thread. They really do. I like the Metler thread. And this one, I believe, it looks like cotton, but it might be a cotton poly. But it's a nice strong thread. I really have to work to kind of break this. But the reason I'm doing this bounce test, if you have thread that's been hanging around your sewing room for
Old thread will break real
eons
easy.
and eons, old thread breaks easily. You want to keep your thread stored in a dry space away from direct sunlight. So if you have window sun shining in on your thread, you need to move it because it will degrade the quality of the fibers in the thread. If you can't pass the bounce test, trust me, it is not going to get any better. Throw it out. It's not worth the aggravation of trying to figure out, I got this much is good, then that's bad. And this much is good, then that's bad.
Yeah.
That's just, you're never going to get anywhere with that. I bought a 6,000 meter spool of thread at a quilt store, put it on my shelf, 3 or 4 years. Quilt store's gone out of business by the time I got around to using it. It was a dove gray thread, so I thought, it'll go with everything. Finally, I bring it down, I want to use it. Well, I don't know how they had stored that in the store. I didn't really pay attention. It was a bad spool of thread. It did not pass the bounce test. I had to throw the whole thing away. But that was still better than being aggravated with it breaking and breaking and breaking. So, if you're wondering about your thread, do the bounce test. If you really have to work at it to pop the thread, it's gonna pop just as easily when it goes through your machine. Okay, so we've talked about the glide, that's a triobal polyester. Metler, which we have different sizes of the Metler thread, it's also a polyester thread. It's a little lower in sheen than the glide, so if you want something that doesn't shine quite as much, you would choose the Metler thread. Very nice thread to work with, great for construction.
Oh, yeah.
It is not an embroidery thread, however, even though it's the same weight, it's not an embroidery thread. Okay. And the reason it's not an embroidery thread is because it doesn't have the sheen. It probably would stand up to the speed of the machine, but I just think because there's more fibers on this, it's too thick to be efficient in embroidery. Alright, but then we have embroidery thread. If the thread is specifically designed for embroidery, it could be polyester, it could be rayon. If it's polyester, and it's specifically designed for embroidery thread, like this one is the Hemingsworth, this is Robeson Anton. I'm not sure if you could use it in construction successfully. I don't think I would try that.
Rayon thread will break too easy.
Well, rayon would, but if these are polyester embroidery threads, I still don't think I would trust them in construction.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
I don't think I
I
would
think
either.
if they're specifically designated embroidery thread, I would leave them as embroidery.
And the
because
construction thread, rayons is made so you can look at it, that's why they use it for embroidery thread.
Right.
You use it in construction, you're spending money that you're
Well, the
not gonna
problem
see.
with rayon,
Well, it breaks a lot easier too.
well,
Yeah,
you know
it
why
breaks.
it breaks a lot easier?
I do not.
Rayon threads are made out of wood fibers.
Oh.
So when the rayon threads get moist or wet, the rayon gets weak.
So you can't
and
wash
it
your clothes if
breaks.
you make them out of rayon thread.
Well, you
No,
can
you can
wash
wash 'em
them.
Once.
No, you can
Well,
wash them.
they're not gonna
Oh.
come apart when you wash them, but if you pull on it when it's wet, so a rayon thread. If do we have any rayon threads here?
We didn't.
No,
I
we
didn't
didn't
find
bring
any
any
out
open.
there.
No problem.
If we had, but it's not
Poly.
open.
Oh, it's poly, you got the poly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you had a if you have a
Nope, this is rayon.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I was wrong.
So if you have a rayon thread, if you hold it out like this, taut in your hand, and you just put your tongue on it, it will just break.
How does that go again?
So it'll just break when you get it wet, because just dampening the fibers weakens it and it'll break. It's not designed for strength. It's designed for beauty.
Appearance. Okay.
So it's designed to be embroidered with, so it's on a solid surface, so it's not designed to take force.
Okay, that
So
makes sense.
mostly use rayon on adult clothes. If you're doing it for children's clothes, poly is the better because it can take more washings.
Okay, and probably more rough
It's
and
more
tumble.
color safe, right?
It's more color safe too.
So,
Poly's more color
Right,
safe.
so
Yes.
it's fine for embroidery. There's no reason not to use it for embroidery because it's very sturdy for embroidery. It's not going to come apart when it's embroidered. It's just going to come apart if you're using it in a seam or something like that, because it's
Right.
not a sturdy.
It's not a sturdy
It's not a
thread.
sturdy thread.
Okay, I have had medium success using rayon thread and embroidery.
No, I've used it before.
I've used
It's
tons
fine.
of them. Right, it's great.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's just
great.
the spools I have because I,
Maybe.
you know,
I've
Are they
used that.
old or something?
well, when I first got into embroidery, and this was a long time ago,
Many moons ago.
many moons, 2007, so almost 20 years, oh my gosh, 18 years ago. I didn't have any threads, and so there was an embroidery store that was going out of business
Right.
that was selling cases of threads. You'd buy a case of red or a case of green or whatever. So I wrote to them and told them I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, but do you have any unfull cases, like, you know, partial reds, partial greens? I'd like a mix and match of colors. So what he did for me was he took all of the open spools that he had, threw them all in a box, and that's what he sent me. They're giant cones. Some of them have a little bit of use, some of them are mostly used, but he sent me all those open cones. So it's a mix of polyester, metallics, and rayon. and I have no idea how old they are or how they were stored, but I have had really good success with the polyester, medium success with the rayons.
But it may be also may depend also on your thread delivery, because it does make a difference on the thread delivery, and also you have to pay attention if you're getting the like a lasso effect, because if it's spooling off unevenly, you might need a thread net on it, because if it's spooling off, so it's making loops as it's coming off, so then it's making loops and it's making little knots and going into the machine doing that. So you have to, like I know with the Madeira that were on the little tiny cones, that made a difference which way it was on the spool. So you had to put it on the spool the right direction so that it was spooling off. So like if you were having problems, you had to flip it around and go this way, because if it was spooling off this way, it would make too big of, it'd be like bigger loops until it was making a gigantic mess. So but if you put it off so it was coming off this way, it wasn't going to do that.
Okay.
So it makes a difference which way it's coming off the spool. Some things are not designed to come off the spool like this.
Right.
Some things are only designed to come off the spool vertically.
Right. And if you
don't have a
machine
thread,
with an upright spindle,
then you need to have a thread
holder.
stand or
Yeah.
exactly.
Which
So
I
it
like
could
the
be
thread stands
that.
anyway. So you could
There's
tuck them up
so
and
many
take them with
different
you.
things that, or the thread's too dry and it needs thread conditioner or something like that.
Yeah, and if you're using thread conditioner, pretend this is a bottle of thread conditioner. You don't need to soak the whole thing. You just need to put a little line on one spot, give it a little rub. That's it.
Or I
it'll
think
soak
there's,
in.
I think they might make one that you just run the thread through. I don't recall. We don't have any of that stuff, but
Well, they do, because I have for my quilting machine, I have a piece of batting that I fold in half, and I put the thread conditioner in that batting, and I tuck the
just runs
batting into
through
one
it.
of the guides, and then I run the thread
well,
through
and sometimes it works better if you have a
So
longer,
ease is
if
what
you
it's
run a longer run of thread. So if it's too short of a run before it gets to the tensioners, and you run a longer run of thread, sometimes that works. There's just a variety of different ways that you can make a spool of thread work properly. It just depends on the spool of thread. Like sometimes I will put a spool of thread down in front of the machine and run it up over through two spool caps that are like this on the spool pin, and run them through the spool caps like that.
And I've been told that's how you should use metallic thread. Metallic thread should always come off vertically. I don't know that this is true.
Depends on the spool of thread.
How it's wound.
Right. How
now,
it's.
can you
some
tell?
metallic threads, a big
And,
spool would be round like this.
Wonderfill makes a thread delivery thing for the
vertical spins on with the bearings.
A different thing for metallic.
Oh, okay. Oh, I've seen that.
It's one of the thread stands, right?
Forget what it's.
I don't remember what it's called. I have one of those.
No, it's a plastic thing that it pulls.
Yeah.
It's for straightening out the metallic threads, because some of them get a twist.
Right.
Because it'll get a twist, and
now,
cause a problem.
I'm looking at this spool of thread, and we can maybe show it on that camera so they can see too. And I can see that it's like cross woven.
Right, so it's designed to come off the spool straight
off.
at the top, right.
When you're looking at a spool like this, can you tell which end should be that way?
I've never had a problem with
the
the Mettler
coming
off
any spool of thread. Is there a generic?
No, I can't tell.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know either. So if it's cross wound like this, it's meant
I
to
think
come
it's meant to come off
this
at the
way.
end, correct.
Okay. Does it twist too much if it's upright? Because like this one is cross wound. I mean, I know it's a serger thread, but it would come off upright. There's no way you could lay it down in the machine.
Yeah, that has to go.
And I don't think it'll come off from the side very well.
No,
See,
because it's too heavy.
Well, hand me the And it's the thread.
I'll find it first.
Find that thread, the new game we played.
So you have made to go off
And
vertical.
and sometimes when it comes off like this, you may start getting, depending, this is coming off okay, but sometimes when you get it like this, take it off like this, it'll get like a loop and make a loop
That's what usually happens.
that'll
with
drop
metallic.
drop off to the bottom of the
Oh, and then it gets caught around
and it gets caught
here.
underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why on the Fop and Viking they recommend you put your big spool cap down flat so that it doesn't get caught
Yeah.
at the bottom if you have one of those on the top. So this is coming off sideways pretty well actually,
Well, and
because
a
it's
lot
not
of
actually
times,
making a big
too,
mess.
I tell people, it's
Thread
if-
nest.
Thank you.
It's
If
everything is
if you're
different.
running your machine and it has a vertical spool pin, if it has something where it can go up and come down, oops, I know I didn't show you that very well, but if, let's see, okay. So if your machine has something where it goes over a loop in the top and then comes in, it's feeding off the top, like our new thread systems for our Viking and Foff machines, that comes off very easily.
Yes.
If you're trying to take this cone and run it the way Sally was doing, which is this way, the weight of the cone is going to add tension to
And that's
that
not
thread.
gonna be good.
It's not going
No.
to be good. So you don't
It's
want to
gonna be a
add
bad
additional tension because your machines
And it's not
are
gonna
set
go
for
into the
certain
tensioner right
Yeah.
either.
correct.
So follow whatever the instructions are for your sewing machine in terms of that regards.
Okay,
Anyway,
the last type of thread I
Okay.
want to talk about is Wonderfill.
alright.
Now, Wonderfill, it's a great thread. This is
It's a wonderful
Invisifill,
thread.
which is this one, I believe.
The 100-weight?
It's hundredweight.
This could either be
Invisifill is hundredweight.
Yeah, Invisifill's 100-weight. They also make
Deco Bob is 80 weight.
the 80-weight. I love the 80-weight thread.
That's what I
That's my
sew with
favorite.
a lot.
It's
That's
a
what I
very
sewed the
lightweight
apron
thread.
with.
Now, it's good for construction. Your seams will lay perfectly flat.
Mhm.
Just because it's a 100-weight or 80-weight thread does not mean that it is a weak thread, just
No,
because
true
it's
that.
thin. It is a good, strong thread. I'm not going to open this one, but trust me, it's a good thread.
Yes.
With you can use it for embroidery. In fact, if you're doing
Small
embroidery
letters.
that has very fine detail or very small letters, use a 100-weight thread and you will get crisp, clean details in your embroidery. If you use a standard 40-weight embroidery thread, it will embroider just fine, but it will be thick and you won't get the sharp, crisp lines you're looking for. Your lettering, if they're small, particularly if it's a small satin, will look blurry.
Yeah, it makes a really nice, the Invisifill makes really nice letters.
It really, really
Super
makes very
nice
nice
letters.
letters.
So.
There was something else I was gonna say about thread and I forget. Oh, I get questioned all the time on what does the weight of the thread mean? Why is a 100-weight thread skinnier than a 40-weight thread, but a 100-weight needle is larger than a 70-weight needle? Okay, completely different systems. I don't know how they gauge the needles, so I can't address that, but I do know how they gauge the weight of the thread. They take a measurement, whether it's a gram, we'll say, I'm making it up. Not the process, but just the measurements. And how many yards does it take, or how many meters of thread does it take to make that weight? If you have thread that's this thick, it's not gonna take very much. It might take 2 measurements. So your thread is gonna be weighted as a 2. If you have a skinny, skinny, skinny thread, it might take 100 lengths before you meet the measurement. That's a 100-weight thread. So the higher the number, the thinner the thread, because the more measurements it takes to make the required weight.
That makes sense. Very good.
Isn't that The way, same
Good
way they do
explanation.
metal.
I don't know. I don't know about metals.
So,
I just know that about thread. Little,
I don't know about
Stick
the
in my
gauge.
brain.
Needles is gauge.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, I don't know how they
gauge is
come up with that.
always
that's different.
smaller. Gauge is the higher gauge is bigger hole, but I don't understand that. So.
And
That's for
why,
another
I
day,
can't-
another story.
Jimmy would probably be able to
Yeah,
answer
we'll have
that,
to
but
ask
that's
And then,
beyond
8
my
and
expertise.
12 is mainly used not for that, but it's usually used for bobbin work because it's thicker
Thread,
thread, the 8 and
8
12.
weight.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
8 weight and stuff,
Right.
so.
And you would wind those manually or on the bobbin.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And 3 you usually
Oh, I
like
haven't
that's
seen
crochet
3.
thread.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's like
Cording.
or
Almost.
cording, yeah, or oh, now you just the word just popped out of my head.
Sorry.
Pop it back. Ah! I didn't catch it. Wait. Oh, you know, little like tatting would be
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Or,
yeah.
anyway. So
Making lace and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
anyway, that's our story. That's all we have for you today.
I
Oh,
hope you
Fob
learned
Club is
something.
on Sunday. We're gonna be
Do you want Barbara to show
going
the
to
apron?
show. Barbara will show you the apron
Yeah.
that we're doing on Sunday. I'm still trying to figure out a way to demonstrate it so it doesn't not gonna take too long. But it's super cute pattern.
Yeah.
Has
Pockets are always good.
pockets, real cute. So
Not accidentally bring this home.
because she's a whisk taker.
That's right.
Alrighty. Well, thanks guys for watching us. We'll be back next Thursday.
Yep.
Here at Alfonso and back, and we will find something else to
Okay, I
ramble
left
about.
it here for you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Wouldn't wanna keep it.
That's so tempting though.
It is